আসসালামু আলাইকুম। এডুকেশন অ্যান্ড ক্যারিয়ার উইথ নাজিম শোতে আপনাদেরকে আমন্ত্রণ এবং স্বাগতম। আজকে আমার সাথে দুইটা ব্রিলিয়ান্ট অডিয়েন্স আছেন, গেস্ট আছেন। আমার বামে আছেন ডাকনাম ইকবাল, ওর পুরো নাম হচ্ছে মোহাম্মদ সুবহান রেজা খান। উনি হচ্ছেন একজন অ্যাকচুয়ারিস্ট এবং ওয়ার্ল্ডের ওয়ান অফ দ্য টপ অ্যাকাউন্টিং ফার্মে, ইউকেতে নাম্বার 1 অ্যান্ড ওয়ার্ল্ডে নাম্বার 2 জেনারেল ইন্স্যুরেন্স লিডার হিসেবে কাজ করছেন। One of the rarest find among Bengali communities to have an actuarist. So Iqbal, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And আমার ডানে আছেন আমাদের সেলিম ভাইয়ের সন্তান হামিম। হামিম খুব ব্রিলিয়ান্ট একটি স্টুডেন্ট। ও স্কুলের হেড বয় ছিল এবং সাথে সাথে জিসিএসসিতে A* 10টা সাবজেক্টে A* পেয়েছেন, তার মধ্যে 5টাতে 9 এবং আর 5টাতে 8. So we are very proud of you, Hamim, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
আজকের এই ফরম্যাটটা আমরা একটু স্লাইটলি ডিফারেন্ট করেছি। এই কারণেই করলাম যে হাইলি এক্সপিরিয়েন্স একজন ক্যারিয়ার প্রফেশনাল আমাদের সাথে আছেন, আরেকজন স্টুডেন্ট, এবং আমরা যারা একসাথে দেখব ইনশাল্লাহ আমরা চেষ্টা করব এই কীভাবে ইকবাল, ডাকনাম ইকবাল, হামিমকে হেল্প করতে পারে তার কেরিয়ার মানে ডিসিশনটা যাতে নিতে পারে, এবং কী কী ভ্যালিউজ, অ্যাট্রিবিউটস, ক্যারেক্টার, নলেজ অ্যান্ড অকুপেশনাল স্কিলস হামিমের এখন থেকে অর্জন করা উচিত, এগুলো নিয়ে জানার জন্য। তো আমরা এটাকে আপনার স্কাই 782 সাথে সাথে ফেসবুক এবং ইউটিউবের মাধ্যমে লাইভ স্ট্রিমিং করছি। আজকে অনেকেই প্যারেন্ট নিয়ে এই প্রোগ্রামটা দেখবেন। আপনাদের কোনো কমেন্ট থাকলে আমাদের স্টুডিওতে ফোন করবেন, নাম্বারটা আছে স্ক্রিনে, এবং সাথে সাথে আপনাদের কোনো কমেন্ট থাকলে আপনি চাইলে ফেসবুকেও আপনি কমেন্ট করতে পারেন। আমাদের কলিগরা এটা পড়ে আমাদেরকে জানাবেন এবং আমরা যতটুকু সম্ভব আপনাদের উত্তরগুলো দেওয়ার ট্রাই করব। সো আমি এখন আমার দুই এস্টিমড গেস্টের কাছে যাচ্ছি। ইকবাল, প্লিজ could you kindly introduce yourself a bit for our audience?
Sure. So, assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Iqbal. I'm the General Insurance Leader at PwC. I've been at PwC for 26 years. And thank you for having me on the show.
Excellent, thank you. Hamim?
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Hamim. I go to London Academy of Excellence in Tottenham. I'm in year 12 now, and I've just finished my first year of A-levels, and I'm doing maths, further maths and economics, looking to go into finance. Thank you for having me on the show.
So, excellent. So both of them are, one is willing to be building a career in finance, another one is already established professional in finance industry. তো আমি যে এই ফরম্যাটটা অনেকটা স্পন্টেনিয়াস হবে, কোনো ফিক্সড মানে টেমপ্লেট ফলো করব না, বাট অ্যাজ ইউজুয়াল আজকের প্রোগ্রামে 3টা পার্ট থাকবে। আমরা প্রথমে বলবো ফরমেশন অ্যান্ড ফাউন্ডেশন স্টেজ, যেখানে আমরা একটা মানুষের জন্ম থেকে স্কুল এবং কলেজের পড়াশোনা নিয়ে একটু আলোচনা করব। তারপর হচ্ছে ট্রানজিশন অ্যান্ড ট্রান্সফরমেশন, ইউনিভার্সিটি কোর্স চয়েস হতে শুরু করে প্রথম চাকরি এবং তারপর কেরিয়ারে কীভাবে মানুষ প্রোগ্রেস করে। এরপর আমরা দেখব লিডারশিপ অ্যান্ড লেগেসি, যেটা অ্যাবাউট 40 to 45-এর পর থেকে মানুষ কীভাবে তার কেরিয়ারে লিডারশিপ দেয় এবং কেরিয়ারের সাথে সাথে সমাজে এবং পৃথিবীতে কীভাবে কন্ট্রিবিউট করার ইচ্ছা থাকে এবং কি লেগেসি ওরা রেখে যেতে চায় পৃথিবীতে, এটা নিয়ে আলোচনা করব। সো ফরমেশন অ্যান্ড ফাউন্ডেশন স্টেজে আমি ফার্স্ট আবেদন করব ইকবাল, ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু সে সামথিং অ্যাবাউট ইউর লাইফ, আর্লি লাইফ?
Yeah, sure. So actually, it's quite interesting, actually. So if you look at my daytime life, I was within a square mile, and I was always educated in square mile. So I went to primary school in Russell Square. I then went to secondary school just behind St Paul's Cathedral in a place called City of London School for Boys. Then I went to university at the London School of Economics and Political Science. And when I actually started work at PwC, I worked near Charing Cross. So I actually didn't move in my daytime life for about 20 years. I was always north of the river and always within this kind of square mile. And then when they moved offices south of the river, that was quite traumatic for me because I'd never been south of the river before. So yeah, I mean that's kind of my early life. I was very fortunate. So I said I went to secondary school. I got something called an assisted place. So these things don't exist anymore, but I always used to say that Margaret Thatcher paid for me to go to school because she set up a system called the assisted place where if you were bright enough, the government would make up the fees to go to a private school, and that's why I was able to go to City of London School and got lots of opportunity there.
Now that's a brilliant story. Your school is one of the top school in the UK.
Yeah.
And you studied in the square mile and started career in maybe Square Mile or just about.
Sure.
Who wants to go out of Square Mile? It's the financial hub of the world, from one perspective.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I agree. I think we're really lucky in the UK. I don't think we realise how lucky we are. We have amazing education. We have world-class careers, jobs, and companies in the UK, in finance in London, obviously, but
Absolutely,
it's
yeah.
not just London. And the other thing we have, which I don't think people realise, is once you graduate, the wonderful thing about the UK job market is that you get trained by your firm. You get on-the-job training, and that actually doesn't happen in that many other countries around the world. And so actually, if you look at firms like ours, for example, we train accountants, we train tax specialists, we train actuaries, and then they go out and then they build their careers. So if you're lucky enough to be in the UK, as we all are, you have the potential to have a fantastic training just by your first job.
Amazing, amazing. So we'll come back to you about the formation and foundation stage. Again, we'll go back to Hamim. Hamim, you certainly have excelled in your school, yes? And I have met you, of course, we have interacted with you. You are a brilliant and bright mind, always driven and always wanted to achieve something. Tell me something about your school life. Tell me what you enjoyed in your school and what drove you to go to school and maybe excel in your primary and secondary school.
Yeah, for me, I think one thing that drove me was my parents. So coming from the background that we come from, your parents, they did everything for you from a young age. They made a lot of sacrifices for you. So things like that really motivate you and drive you to work hard for them, because you see how much effort they put in for you and you don't want that to go to waste. So, primary school, you're really young, you don't think about it too much, but then when you get to secondary and then when things matter a little bit more, that starts to come into your mind. So yeah, that's what I would say drove me, is to make them proud, to do something for them. And yeah.
And what motivated you? What did you find any pleasure in studying primary school? A Greek philosopher says life is kind of a two motivational source. One is pleasure, another one is purpose. So your parent instilled kind of a purpose in you, yes?
Yeah.
What gave you pleasure in primary and secondary school?
To be honest, it was the people as well.
Okay.
Going to school, interacting with people, interacting with your friends, interacting with your teachers. I think at the end of the day, like relationships, that's the most important thing. But obviously as well, from a young age, you want to learn a lot of things as well. So, yeah.
Amazing. And you were selected as the head boy in your school. Tell us about the journey. What made you, people are calling me maybe for the show.
Okay.
What made you go for the head boy position?
To be honest, like when I was younger, I was a little bit shy. I wasn't out speaking. But my head of year, she always liked me and she always wanted me to have that role. So she told me, like, you need to be a little bit more confident, you need to speak out more. And then from like year 10, I started to instill that in my mind. So I would contribute more, I would try and do more in class, do more extracurriculars. And then, the process was they selected 10 or 15 of the best students in the year group. And everyone had to do a speech in front of the head of years and the student leaders. And whoever had the best application speech was chosen. So it was a competitive process, but I think it was good because it gave me a lot of skills I didn't have before. Like, it gave me leadership, it taught me public speaking, confidence, and yeah.
So in order to succeed, even from young age, you learned to be audacious, to be bold, to have a great oratory skills, and also to overcome the fear of failure, fear of losing out. Yes. So that's a brilliant life journey.
But I think the other thing it shows, and I think it's amazing, right? So you're obviously a very confident young man, and I think, alhamdulillah, like we're blessed to have you as our next generation, right? We really are. But when you were telling your story, it reminded me of what happened to what my parents told me happened to me, and I think it also highlights the importance of sponsorship. And we'll come on to this when we talk about career, because your head teacher said to you, you should do it.
My head of year.
Your head of year. So he or she recognised that within you, and then said, no, you can do it. And I remember my mother told me that. My mama told me that when I was in primary school, the headmaster took my mum aside and said, your son's quite bright. He shouldn't go on to the school that most of the kids from here will go on to. He's really bright. We need to push him. So if you apply to go to City of London school, they do these things called assisted places. So even if you can't afford to go, the government will pay for you to go. And so, and then obviously Emma made sure that I was ready to sit the exams, and I sat the exams and got into the secondary school. But, if that chance conversation hadn't have occurred, would my life have taken a different path? If your head of year hadn't have spoken to you, would you have still gone onto it? So I think it just highlights how important it is that we continue to sponsor others in our lives, as well as look out for those who could sponsor us in our careers.
Absolutely. So it's more like a partnership.
Yeah.
Partnership between your parents, supporting you emotionally, giving you career direction, sharing their life stories. It's also a partnership with the tutors and teachers who are guiding you, challenging you, and understanding your strengths and weaknesses, and helping you to find the right career path. It might also be some social forces.
Yeah.
For example, the families that you meet, the relatives that you encounter on a day-to-day basis, their positive reinforcement. It's a partnership. And why not partnership? Every successful person is a gift to the world. Human progresses because we always add value to other humans, yes? So you, as a son of my friend, you are not an asset to your family only, you are an asset to our whole society. So it is our job to support each potential individual to get to the best of their abilities or achieving their potential. So that's a brilliant story. Now, I wanted to just touch base, one more point. So let's say there are some signs of successful individuals who have a bright future early on in primary school. But of course, we know that not all fingers are of the same length and height, yes? So there are multiple people with very interesting prospects with multiple other areas of life. For example, IQ is one, emotional quotient, and then adaptability side, and character and attributes. So has your school really helped you to develop those things, kind of emotional bonding, character and attributes? If you can share that kind of stories, especially from the perspective of those who are not maybe highly clever, from the eyes of the tutors, but who have huge amount to contribute to the society. Any point you wanted to share, using examples of your friends and family members, things like that?
Well, to be honest, if we're speaking honestly, so now I obviously go to a very good school, but before, the school that I went to is in, it wasn't one of the best schools. It was just an average state school. So one thing you could learn from that is, if you're raised right, if you're raised correctly, a lot of the things you see there and you learn what not to do, if that makes sense. And obviously everywhere there's good people and bad people, but if you make the right friends from a young age, that's really helpful, because they help you to guide you onto the right path. They're there to support you, and if you stay with the right crowd, I think that's a really good thing from a young age.
Amazing. So bonding with kind of good kind of people, yes, and then each will nurture each other's minds,
exactly,
and support each other's. Thank you.
I think that's right. I mean, I was very fortunate in the secondary school that I went to, right? So I was given, and the reason I say that is I was given opportunities that I would never have dreamt possible. Like a Bengali person doing fencing, for example, where does that happen, right? So, I had my eyes open to the world by my teachers about what the art of the possible was. The thing that I would observe, if you look at anyone who's successful in any industry, right? So it's not about the bookwork, if I can phrase it that way. Great artists, great musicians, they all work really hard, right? So, I think the thing that I really got from school is that, you may not be as talented as the person next to you, but, effort goes a long way, right? And even if you look at the so-called most talented sports people, I was reading an article the other day about, Shane Warne, I think you have to put like 10,000 hours in to be a sports person. So, that is a lot of work to get to the top of your profession, to get to to be the best cricketer in the world or the best footballer in the world. So I don't think that I think that same lesson applies to everything else. You have to put in the effort, and there's no shortcuts in life, which might not be helpful to people watching. But I mean, I think that is just true. You just have to work hard.
So working hard is a vitally important, I think, building block for a successful career. So what drive people to work hard? So, there must be something to do with motivation, inner drive, or aspiration, or, expectations. And of course, many psychologists say that motivation can also come from goal setting. Some of the motivations are also intrinsic. It comes from within. So if you look back at your early life, what drove you to work hard?
Yeah, so I mean, at school it was easy, right? It was wanting to get the best grade, wanting to be the best student, wanting to be, for me, the best badminton player. I played a lot of badminton when I was at school and at university. That's what drove me. I think the other thing is also, and it's really interesting to hear Hamid talk about like his friends, and I think it's the people you also surround yourself with, because I don't look back at school and think it was work. I was really lucky, actually. 2 weeks ago, we had our 30-year reunion, which shows how old I am, for people in my secondary school year. And I picked up with people who I literally hadn't seen, some of them for 30 years. And it was like this. It was like we hadn't been apart from each other. And I think for me, it was fun. It was fun. It sounds sad. It was fun studying. It was fun being at school. It was fun achieving. It was fun sharing in the success of your friends. It was fun helping your friends, having them help you. That's what my memory of school was.
Amazing. So even if you put in hard work, you must enjoy it.
Yeah.
And your friends actually make it enjoyable, isn't
Correct.
it? Yes? Amazing. What motivates you? What motivated you to, for example, seek to achieve high grades and achieve maybe all A stars in your GCSEs? The reason I asked this, before I came to the show, I actually had a few conversations with some parents and some youngsters, yes, and the motivation and ambition and aspirations are not widely shared in our societies.
No.
So I wanted to know what motivated you to aspire and to achieve high. What was it?
Well,
you mentioned about your parents. Anything else?
Yeah, I think in life, change happens when you have a purpose.
Yes.
So when you set a goal, what you said about goal setting, when you set a goal, when you have a purpose, that's what makes you want to work hard every day. Because motivation doesn't last forever. There's a difference between motivation and discipline. So if you're motivated, it's very fleeting. It lasts for maybe a few days. But if you set a goal, if you have a purpose, and you want to work towards it, that's in your mind. So you want to work towards that every day. So in my case, let's say short term, I wanted to go to a better school, because as I said before, the school that I went to, secondary school, it wasn't amazing. The borough, the place that it was in, I wanted to go to a better school. I wanted to have a better environment so I would enjoy school, so I could do better in the future, right? So that was my goal, to do well in my GCSEs, in terms of the short term, the next few years. So with that goal in mind, I would get up every day, revise, try my best, and yeah.
Amazing. You're a father, of course. You have your own kids. What will you say to youngsters studying in primary, secondary schools? Of course, for them, life is all about fun. Life is all about enjoyment, yes? Within that enjoyment and fun, how would you like them to, for example, direct their life? Any advice?
Yeah, look, and I think if my children are watching this, they're just laughing at me. They get that from their Amman, not from me. So, I mean, I think childhood is to be enjoyed. That is the first thing I would say. I think too much of it is now on screens. And actually, the first thing I say to my children is, look, do at least one sport. Make sure you read widely. And I mean read books, not read your screen. Because I think the thing is, when you read on a screen, what you don't learn is patience. And I think if you read a book, you have to learn patience. I mean, you'll know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
How do you get through a textbook if you can't even read a short novel? So the thing that I tried to instill in my children was a love of reading.
Amazing.
I mean, that's probably the only thing that I can say I gave them, was a love of reading. And alhamdulillah, they read voraciously without me or my wife Tina's input, because they just love to read. And for me, I kind of think, well, actually, that's job done, because if they've got patience, then whatever they will be motivated to do well in, I think they will then go on to do really well. I think the other thing is, and this I think is true of any parent, when your child does well, say you've done a good job. It's not hard. And it could be a small thing. And also, if they don't do so well, then just say, look, I know it hurts, because it does hurt for them.
Yeah.
Then don't be patronising and say it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. Of course it matters. But just say, look, you tried your hardest. You'll get it next time. Do you want my help? And you might not want my help, but if you do, I'm here. And if you don't, you know that I'm here. So you're always positive. And I think that's the key thing. And I think also just saying, and I think this is incumbent on parents, to say to their children, actually, look, studies are important. Getting good grades is important. It's not the end of the world if you don't. We can talk a bit about other careers if you're not book smart. But if you are book smart, it is an advantage.
Yeah.
Amazing. So from this discussion, what I have understood is hard work is an essential element of a successful career, especially in primary, secondary, and maybe schools and universities. Then discipline, having that character, determination, and discipline is very important. And having circles of friends who motivates each other, who makes hard work fun, and also who support you, guide you, I think is also very important. And enjoying life in general, I think, is very important. We do not want to punish our sons and daughters. We want them to enjoy life. Whilst enjoying also, they should not be derailing into something that is not related to their career and goal. And then what is interesting, and this is from many of my friends' observation too, allowing kids to read interesting novels, interesting stories, so that they can build that reading habit is vital.
Yeah.
Is vital. We now have a caller, please, if you can tell us your question and then your name as well as from where you called, then we'll be able to answer it to you. Thank you.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম। অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমি প্রোগ্রামটা দেখতেছি, আমি পার্সোনালি হামিমকে চিনি। এই প্রোগ্রামগুলো আসলে খুব ভালো, যে নেক্সট জেনারেশন ইন্সপায়ার হয়।
থ্যাংক ইউ ভেরি মাচ। আপনি যে পছন্দ করেছেন এর জন্য আমাদের ভালো লাগতেছে। আপনার এমনিতে কোনো কমেন্ট অথবা কোনো কোয়েশ্চেন থাকলে বলতে
হ্যাঁ,
পারেন।
আমি একটু আরো ডিটেইলস ওর কাছে যে ও একটু ইন্টার্নশিপ নিয়ে যদি আরেকটু কিছু বলে।
অ্যাবসলিউটলি, আমরা ডেফিনেটলি আমাদের দুইজন স্টিম কলার আছেন। এনি সাজেশন ফর স্কুল গোয়িং স্টুডেন্টস টু গো ফর ইন্টার্নশিপ?
Yeah, so what I would say is, and actually it's interesting, Hamim and I actually had this conversation. If you can, think of what you enjoy. So if you enjoy doing English and you enjoy literature and you enjoy writing, think about the careers that might give you. So let's say journalism, the law. If you like doing maths, or if you like doing maths, maybe you want a career in finance. If you like doing science, maybe an engineering career. And the reason I'm saying that is, then look for companies in that sphere. Go to their websites and see what they offer. Nearly all companies now on their websites offer some kind of school internship. The trick is you have to be organised enough to apply early for it. So typically they start recruiting for that in September, for the summer, the September before the summer. So I would say find a group of companies or an industry that you're interested in. Look up the leading companies for that industry, and then just go to their websites, and you will find internships. But do it in September. Don't leave it until after September, and apply in September.
Brilliant, thank you. Hamim, you have any suggestion?
Yeah, I would agree with what you said here. If you know what you're doing from the start, that's brilliant. But you have to put yourself out there. You have to look for these things. You have to try. So, for example, I know I want to do a degree apprenticeship in finance. I've known that for a long time. So since last summer, I've been applying to lots of work experiences, and now I have quite a lot under my belt. Out of the big four, I've had work experience with 3 of them in accounting. So yeah, it depends on you, how hard you work. You have to look for it. You have to make an effort. because no one's going to come and spoon feed you these things. You have to go out there and find it yourself.
What about the students who missed the opportunity, so did not make an application on time, for example, and at the last moment looking for a placement?
Well, life is like that sometimes. You have to be in the know, you have to be prepared. But it's not the end of the world if you don't find a specific opportunity. There's always going to be something for you if you keep working hard and you keep trying.
Thank you. We'll go for a quick break and we'll come back to this segment. So viewers, please stay tuned with us and come back and we'll have further discussion. In the meantime, if you want to call, please do not hesitate to call us or send a quick note on the Facebook. Thank you very much.